Time now for the Nick Hart Show, our weekly chat with the head coach of the Gibson Southern Titans, Nick Hart. The show is presented by the Gibson Southern Football Boosters and brought to you by A&B Contracting, LLC, AgriGold, Best One Tire, Chips, SellMyTees.com, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Daylight Land Management, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, Elite Insulation, Emerson Cattle Company, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Foster Construction, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Snap-on Tools, Grant Rydens, Hilliard Lyons, Ignite Heating and Air, in loving memory of Zach Bailey, in memory of Darwin and Eric Callis, Julia's School of Dance, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Eleanor Off-Road of Owensville, MyTech Systems, Pegram Concrete LLC, Princeton Auto Park, Pro Rehab, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Reinbrecht Homes, Right to Bear Arms, Rogers Bit Service LLC, Sandy's Pizza, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, South Gibson Grain, Sin Energy Partners LLC, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pest, 10 Barge Seed, TYFL, Vertical Tile Incorporated, Hobb Range Hood Company, Ziliac Enterprises, Beatles Towing, First Bank of Princeton, Johnson Commercial Mowing, Make Your Mark, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Martin's Auto Service, Kathy Solman Photography, Scheller's Carriage Inn, United Fidelity Bank, and by Wabash Valley College. The Nick Hart Show, presented by the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, starts now on 89.1 The Bash.
Welcome to the Nick Hart Show. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me is head coach of the Gibson Southern Titans, Nick Hart. And coach, your Titans are now 7-2 overall and 6-1 in Pocket Athletic Conference play after defeating Southridge on Friday night, 31-14. So let's take a look at the team and individual stats from the win for the Titans. First off, looking here, we will notice total offense. Southridge had 229 yards, while your Titans amassed 434 yards of offense. Rushing yardage, Southridge had 173, your Titans had 171. Passing yardage, though, is where the name of the game changed. Southridge only came up with 56 passing yards, while your Titans had 263 yards. And I think that's huge because early in the game it was kind of tough sledding. And then all of a sudden things started to open up quite a bit because the passing game was wide open there, especially in the flats and the short passing game.
Yeah, they play us the same way. Every year they're going to stack the box against our spread stuff and make you throw the football. And I thought we did a great job of taking advantage of that early in the game. And we those outside linebackers kind of kept creeping out as we kept hitting the flats, and that really opened up some running lanes.
Well, and as we look at things here, it was for considering the coolness of the evening and the rain that it did play a part in the game throughout. Very clean ball game here. 0 fumbles, 0 turnovers for either team. And really, when it comes to penalty yardage, Southridge had 3 penalties for 20 yards, and the Titans had 3 for 25. So a very clean ball game. And I know that our listeners, they just dearly love it that I absolutely rip officials when it's warranted. I do that when it's warranted, I feel, in Bob Bowser's world. But at the same time, Friday night, we need to give some praise to those guys. I thought they let 2 very good ball clubs play football.
Yeah, they always do a very good job. I love having those guys. We've had them quite often, and they've done a great job every single time we've had them.
Looking at the first downs, your ball club racked it up here. Southridge had 11 first downs on the game, 20 for your Titans. Third down percentage, not where you want it to be, but still yet the bottom line is what's on the scoreboard, not in the third down percentages, as your Titans were 5 for 13 on third down at 38.5%. But hey, when you went for it on fourth down, you were 1 for 2. There's dead silence right there. Awesome.
I was trying to remember the fourth downs. I've slept since then, but no, we did a decent job on third down. I thought there was a couple we probably should have converted where we just missed guys, but Again, a lot of that has to do with Southridge being very good on defense, but we didn't do on some of our missed conversions. We got in third and long situations, and you can't do that against them because they're going to heat you up and make you get rid of the football before you can get to the sticks. So, really our third down, when we had third down problems, it was a lot more to do with what we did on first and second down as opposed to third down.
All right, so let's get into the individual stats now. Brady Allen, another solid evening. He was 19 for 32, 263 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Rushing stats, Mitchell Spindler, 21 carries for 132 yards and a touchdown. Ben Butler had 3 carries for 31 yards. Andrew Smith, I wasn't prepared for the Wildcat package coming out there, but we got it. Andrew Smith was 4 carries for 24 yards. Brady Allen, he had 6 carries. We won't mention how many yards, but he did have a big touchdown. And there was another surprise. But I figure, you know what? You're 6 inches from the end zone. He's 6'5" tall. He can get in there.
Well, we were surprised too. He when a freshman's feeling it when he calls his own number down on the goal line. So we had something else called, and he saw an opening and checked to it and went to it, and it was a great decision by him. On film you see definitely what he saw, but that's a great move by a freshman. That's how you can kind of see him growing up. Week 9, I don't know if he does that week 1, but week 9 understands what we needed and what the defense presented, and made a great decision to check and keep it there and go ahead and get the touchdown.
Well, and sometimes when a freshman gets a little jazzy, it can be incredibly good, or it can be incredibly bad. And on this night, incredibly good decision that he made there, because you're right up at the goal line. Go get it done.
I thought he played great the whole night. 19 of 32, and probably. And again, the elements had something to do with it, but we had quite a few drops, more than we're accustomed to. So, you think about some of those, and him going through the elements as well. We did a great job in our passing game with protection, picking up their blitzes, and then Brady distributing the ball.
Well, let's talk about the receiving stats. Dawson Witt had 6 receptions for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ben Butler ended up with 8 receptions for 93 yards. Mitchell Spindler had 2 receptions for 26, and one of those receptions I thought was great. They were rolling out to the left, to the far side of the field away from us, and there wasn't really anybody to block, and so Mitchell just kind of peeled off downfield, and Brady dumped it over the top, and Mitchell caught it, and it was a huge gain there to get him closer to the end zone.
Yeah, nice little screen pass there. We had kind of given a look the past few games where we were, Butler lines up in kind of a tight slot, and we were doing a quick little jet sweep to him. So faked it off that action and slipped Mitchell out on a screen, and very good execution by Butler and Brady on the play fake and making it look like the jet sweep. And then our offensive line did a great job of getting out, and Adam May had a huge block on it as well. So it was just a very well-executed play by everybody on that one.
Well, and then Andrew, let's see, going through here, Caleb Sellers did have a big catch also on Friday night. So offensively, things went really well, and probably, I'm going to have to say, this might be the best game. Now, there were other games where you put up points galore, but considering the competition, this may have been an A grade for this offensive unit on Friday night. I
think so. Absolutely. I was very, very pleased with our execution the entire night. I thought we did a great job of moving the football, especially in the second half. I really thought we moved the football well. I don't think we punted in the second half, so or maybe once. But great execution throughout the entire night, and I agree with you. It was the best football game, I think, on both sides of the ball that we've played all year. But definitely on the offensive side.
Well, and I'm getting ready to go to the defensive side here, where I would say they also earned an A. Probably the only ding in the armor that I would have for it was staying home, playing assignment football on that double handoff counter, which, later on in the postseason, provided we continue to win ball games, we might be facing that again in a Heritage Hills ball club. But so anyway, looking at the defensive side, Lucas Ploss, led the way here. 9 solo tackles, 2 assists, and a tackle for loss. Cody Hupp was in on 6 solo, 2 assists, and 2 tackles for loss. Max Beatles had 5 solo, 3 assists, and a tackle for loss. Colton Stefanich had 4 solo, 2 assists. Logan Falkwer had 4 solo, 2 assists, and a tackle for loss. And Garrett Martin was in on 3 solo and 6 assists. So those guys right there had big nights. But, while I'm only listing off there 6 of the minimum of 11 guys that played on defense, the other 5 guys have to get their job done, or the 5+ guys, because I know you've rotated in on some positions. They have to get their job done in order for somebody to be able to make the tackle.
To your point, I thought one of our huge keys to success on defense this week was we did a great job, and we always preach this, and I really think we're starting to get it on the defensive side. Sometimes you have to make the play so somebody else can make the tackle, and I thought we did a great job of that on Friday night. It might have been Caleb Sellers setting the edge, and then the safety came up and made the play for a 2-yard gain, or defensive lineman taking on a trap, and squeezing it down so the linebacker could come make the play. I thought we did an excellent job of that on Friday night, and it led to a lot of the success that we were able to have on defense.
All right, Coach, so let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll get your overall thoughts from game number 9 concerning the offense, defense, and special teams. But right now, we need to thank the folks that make the Nick Hart Show possible on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Ignite Heating and Air, Hilliard Lyons, Snap-on Tools Grant Rydens, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Emerson Cattle Company, Elite Insulation, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Daylight Land Management, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Chips, SellMyTees.com, Best One Tire, AgriGold, and by A&B Contracting LLC. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. The list of social media platforms continues to grow, and so too does the value of social media to businesses. The new Social Media Management Certificate program at Wabash Valley College prepares you for a career in social media or teaches you how to effectively use social media to grow your own business. From advertising and promotion to public relations and marketing, this certificate program teaches you the ins and outs of successful social media strategy. For more information, visit www.iecc.edu or call 618-262-8641 today.
Thank you for listening to 89.1 The Bash and the Nick Hart Show. All right, Coach, let's start with your thoughts first off on the offensive side of the football.
Very good execution the entire night. I was, a total team effort. You think the 92-yard touchdown pass, Southridge ran a very nice blitz against us. Our offensive line and Mitchell Spindler at running back did an excellent job of picking it up. Brady hung in the pocket. We gave him enough time, and that allowed us to score a touchdown. A lot of the little things like that didn't show up in the box score. Spindler's touchdown right before the half, or right after the half on the toss. Both Ben Butler, or all three, Ben Butler, Seth DeLong, and Adam May on the perimeter had wonderful blocks that helped spring him free. We did so many of those little things offensively that don't show up in the box score but help you win football games. And I really thought that was the difference, between Friday night and some of the other games where we struggled offensively. We did so many of those little things well, and obviously the result, kind of showed that.
All right, so let's go over to the defensive side now, because as you mentioned, offense did a lot of great things. Defense, you've got a ball club here that had been really on a roll since Tucker Shank came back. He's a beast on that football field.
He's very good, very good.
And they've got a very good ball club. They've got a sophomore quarterback, 6'5", can throw the ball really well. But your defense, not only in the passing defense did they play outstanding, but consistently over throughout the night, the rush defense was very good too.
Very good. You talked about, we got hurt a couple times on the counter, and we blew the coverage, on 3rd and 7, which was obviously frustrating that on the big touchdown pass. But, you take those things away, and I thought we were phenomenal on defense. We really, really played well. you hold a kid, their quarterback's very, very talented, very good, I think. And I think he was 2 of 16. I thought we did a great job of breaking up passes and batting down balls, not just being in coverage, but making a play on the football. Bo Lamy makes a great play. They run a wheel route, and Bo Lamy makes a great play on Shank and knocks it away, going into the end zone. Just very, very good, very sound, other than the counters and the busted coverage. I thought our defense played very well. And I think to that point, as you talk about a team, our offense and special teams did a very good job of not giving any short fields. The only short field I can remember is they kind of drove it to midfield on the first drive, pinned us deep on a punt. We got 1 first down and punted it back, and they got the ball, around midfield. But other than that, we did a great job where they were in their territory the entire time, and that really helps you play defense. When you kind of talk about the team aspect and you look at, the Heritage Hills loss and the Henderson County loss, we put our defense in some tough spots with some short fields. Didn't do that on Friday night, and that makes a very big difference.
Well, and the special teams did an outstanding job, too. You get the big field goal, Bryce Williams, and that golden right foot of his. Fantastic. Hopefully those things continue on. But, even when you did have to punt, Mitchell Spindler got off some beautiful punts and got some good rolls even. I tell you, the coverage was good. I didn't think Bryce had the depth on his kickoffs that he normally has. It was about a 5-yard difference. Normally they're taking it inside the 5 or he's kicking it into the end zone. But it seemed like on Friday night it was like the 9-10 yard line where they were getting it. But still yet, the coverage was so good.
It really was. A lot of those guys did a great job on coverage. The one time they got out to like the 35 or the 40 on us. But other than that, they were inside the 30 every time. And, what we kind of talked about with the turnovers and giving short fields and stuff, it's really hard, when you got to go 70, 80 yards to score a touchdown. So I thought our special teams played very well.
Well, and that's one thing in high school football, and I've said it for a couple decades now. The hardest thing to do in high school football is to consistently take it down 60, 70, 80 yards and score. Now, in the pros, it's a different story. But in high school football, to consistently do that throughout the game, it'll happen once or twice, but to consistently do that is just, it's not going to happen in high school football. But so, Coach, I really think it was an A game for your group. But right now, let's take some time to thank the supporters of the Nick Hart Show. And when we come back, we'll take a look around the Pocket Athletic Conference to wrap up the regular season and get prepared for Week 1 of the postseason. As you are listening to the Nick Hart Show on 89.1, The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by South Gibson Grain, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Sandy's Pizza, Rogers Bit Service LLC, Right to Bear Arms, Reinbrecht Homes, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Pro Rehab, Princeton Auto Park, Pegram Concrete LLC, MyTech Systems, in loving memory of Zach Bailey, in memory of Darwin and Eric Callis, L&R Off-Road of Owensville, Kissel Farms Incorporated, and by Julia's School of Dance.
You love sports. You're your team's ultimate fan. Why not turn that passion into the ultimate career? Enroll now in the brand new Sports Marketing and Media program at Wabash Valley College. Learn how to use digital video and other media to add to the fan experience, how to engage fans on social media, and how to create excitement by hosting events and promotions. Get off the sidelines and into the game. Find out more about the WVC Sports Marketing and Media program online at www.iecc.edu or by phone at 618-262-8641.
Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me as head coach of the Titans, Nick Hart. All right, Coach, let's talk Pocket Athletic Conference. And right away here, looking at the scores from this past Friday night, of course, we already mentioned your Gibson Southern Titans defeat Southridge 31-14. Heritage Hills defeats South Spencer 76-0. And in this case, Heritage Hills has just been rolling all season long. South Spencer, they've had their ups and they've had their downs, but this just wasn't a matchup on Friday night.
No, Heritage Hills continues to roll, play good football. Obviously the conference champs and deservedly so. They've been fantastic the entire year.
North Posey 34, Pike Central 13, and early on Pike Central had a lead on North Posey, and then North Posey, kind of, as you can tell by the score, 34-13, pulls away and gets the victory.
Yeah, and they finished with the winning record. They're 5-4 now in the overall, and so a great job of their kids. Of they kind of went through that gauntlet that we talked about early in the season. I think they were 1-4, and now have won 4 straight and are 5-4 heading into the playoffs. Well,
and hey, your joyful ticket that you get to play in week number 10 is Mater Dei. So thank you very much there, IHSAA. And that's coming from North Posey, of course. Tell City, the final game here in the conference slate. Tell City, a shutout victory against Forest Park. This Tell City bunch, I was impressed with them. I mean, your team beat them pretty soundly, but they had to work for every bit of it.
We did, and new coach there this year. I think he's done an excellent job of getting those kids to believe and play hard. And they finish out with a win in the regular season, and they've lost some tough games, some close games, throughout the season. But I think you're right. I think they're better than their record shows, and will be a tough out for somebody in the playoffs.
All right, so let's look at the final Pocket Athletic standings for the 2018 football season. The Heritage Hills Patriots, they end up 7-0 in conference play, 9-0 overall. Your Gibson Southern Titans were 6-1 and 7-2 overall. Southridge fell to 5-2, 6-3 overall. North Posey was 4-3 in conference play, 5-4 overall. Tell City ended up 2-5 in conference play, 3-6 overall. South Spencer was 2-5, 2-7 overall. And Forest Park and Pike Central were both 1-6 in conference play, 1-8 overall. So now let's take a look at the postseason schedule as we're looking at it here for next week. Starting off here, Linton will be at Forest Park. Interesting, that's a 1A ball game if I'm not mistaken. 2A? I'm sorry, yep. 2A.
Linton is a 1A school, but they're up because of the success factor.
Okay, so success factors going to Forest Park in week 1.
Yeah. Linton played Southridge early in the season, and I think Linton's young and gotten a lot better throughout the course of the season, and just a wonderful program. So that'll be a tough one for Forest Park, but at least they're at home, and they kind of have that going for them. Linton has to make a long trip down there.
All right, then North Posey is at Mater Dei. I kind of alluded to that earlier. Thank you very much there for the draw. And it seems to happen probably 3 out of every 4 years that these two ball clubs meet up week number 1.
Yeah, and at Mater Dei too. That makes it even that much tougher. So, Coach Shank, Coach Gable will obviously have Mater Dei ready to play, but Coach Shank will have North Posey ready to go, and they'll go in there and give them everything they can.
And then South Spencer will be at Southridge. Unfortunately, we have a conference matchup here in a situation where I don't remember the entire bracket, but I think these are the only two PAC teams in that bracket.
Forest Park and North Posey are all in there.
So I guess it's bound to happen when half of the teams are PAC. There is that possibility. But Southridge, starting off week number 1 of defending their state championship, and South Spencer, a ball club that trying to find those peaks and staying out of the valleys.
Yeah, and that one was a little snug early when they played in the regular season, and Southridge was able to pull away. But obviously getting Tucker Shank back makes a big difference for them, and now he's got 2 games under his belt. He's going to continue to get better, which is in turn going to make Southridge better as the weeks go on.
Well, and then Tell City is at North Knox, and I'm putting it right here on 50,000 watts of 89.1 The Bash. Tell City will win this ball game.
I think they got a great shot. I would normally say I don't know anything about North Knox.
See, why you got to be like that? Why you got to be Mr. Even Keel guy?
Well, let me get there. But I do know something about North Knox because they just played Washington this past week, so we obviously have watched that film. So I think Tell City has a great shot to go get a win. That's a long, long drive for a sectional game. But
you might want to take a chartered jet or something.
But I think Tell City is playing very good football, and we'll have a chance to go up there and get a win.
All right, so that's all of the non-sectional 32 teams coming out of the Pocket Athletic Conference and where they're playing. Now let's take a look at sectional 32, because obviously that's where our importance lies over the next few weeks. On the top portion of the bracket, Pike Central will be at Vincennes. Vincennes is a ball club that seems to have it rolling, coming out of the Big 8 Conference, 7-2 overall. So a tough uphill battle here for Pike Central.
It is tough because Vincennes is playing really well. I mean, when you look at their 2 losses were relatively early in the season, so they've been on a nice roll here, going through the Big 8. So a tough task, and especially they got to go to Lincoln. So that's definitely a tough task.
Well, and then the other one on the top side of the bracket, Princeton will take on Evansville Memorial at Memorial. I don't know which field it's at, but regardless, it's not at Princeton. Princeton comes in 3-6. Memorial is 9-0, and Memorial, they're good.
Yeah, they really are. And they're obviously the favorites to the defending state champs. They got a lot of guys back. Have really taken the whole SIAC to the woodshed this year. They've been playing excellent football. So they're definitely the favorites here. In this bracket, but several other teams, including us, are, obviously everybody has a lot of games to win to get there. We're going to keep practicing and playing, obviously, but Memorial's very, very good, and it's going to take a great ball game for somebody in this sectional to knock them off, I think.
All right, so now in the lower portion of the bracket, Mount Vernon will be at Heritage Hills, and this will be high-octane offense against big-time defense.
Yeah, they played earlier in the year, and Heritage Hills got them pretty good. I think Mount Vernon's improved a little bit since then. The Jasper score was a little bit, surprising, I think. Obviously Jasper's a great program. I was just kind of surprised at the spread of that on Friday night. So, we talked earlier, Heritage Hills is just an excellent football team, very well coached, and are 9-0 for a reason.
All right, then, of course, there's one more game left in sectional 32, and we'll take that in our next segment, Coach. So right now, we need to take a little break here and mention the underwriters of the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Sin Energy Partners, LLC, trapping and removal of animal pests, 10 Barge Seed, TYFL, Vertical Tile Incorporated, Hobb Range Hood Company, Ziliak Enterprises, Beatles Towing, First Bank of Princeton, Johnson Commercial Mowing, Make Your Mark, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Martin's Auto Service, Kathy Solman Photography, Scheller's Carriage Inn, and by United Fidelity Bank. Looking for a job in agriculture? Then Wabash Valley College is the place for you. We have courses that can help prepare students for careers in farms and other ag-related occupations, including ag sales, marketing, and mid-management positions at ag suppliers. Our programs have great instructors to help you get to where you want to be. For more information, call WVC today at 618-262-8641 or visit www.iecc.edu/WVC.
Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show right here on 89.1 The Bash, or you may be using the free app to access the show on your cell phone. So, Coach, week 1 of the postseason, your Titans will travel to Hatchet Hollow to take on Washington on Friday at 6:30 p.m. And we will have all the action live on 89.1 The Bash with pregame at 6:15 p.m. So Washington will enter with a 1-8 record overall. What do you expect to see from the Hatchets on offense?
Well, they're mostly a spread offense. They'll play with, and our fans see us do this, they play with that tight end wing quite a bit. They use quite a bit of jet motion, giving it to the jet guy, fake to the jet guy, and run power. And then they'll get in 4 wide stuff, doubles and trips. And, every week they've kind of had something that they do a little bit different. They'll get in quads or, something like that, kind of motion to empty, and then go jet sweep, be in doubles and motion to empty, and then go jet sweep. Just something, it seems like they're always putting something out there that you haven't been able to practice for. So, we'll have to, on Friday night, if they do that again, be ready to react on the fly and getting the best defense that we can. But they do a good job. They've ran the ball, very efficiently at times, and I think that's what they want to do. They're in the spread, but they have an excellent running back, and that's kind of where they butter their bread, and then they're capable of throwing the football as well.
All right, so on offense, they're showing you multiple formations, multiple plays coming out of those formations, sometimes some new plays each and every week. But on the defensive side, what do you see from them trying to do against your offense?
Well, they're 4-4, 4-2-5, whatever you want to call it, cover 3 most of the time. So they do a good job. They get lined up and just go play ball, and with that cover 3, playing off and trying to keep everything in front of them, and like you alluded to earlier, making you drive 60, 70, 80 yards, wherever you get the ball and not giving up a big play. At times they've given up, quite a few points, but they're coming off a game Friday night where they only gave up 24. So they've shown, at times the ability to really be good on defense and stop people.
All right, so let's go to the special team side. What are you seeing from their kickers, their kick returners, etc.?
Solid in the kicking game. They do that. On the punt team, they do the shield punt. In front of the punter. He's a decent high school punter. Kickoffs go to about the 10. Do a good job on extra points. Very solid in that aspect.
Now, will this be your first trip to the Hatchet Hollow?
For a game, yes. They used to be our preseason scrimmage opponent, partner, whatever you want to call it, for my first 2 years here. So we went there 1 year for a scrimmage, but we have never played them in an actual game. So I've been there before, but it was 6 years ago. So it's been a while, and don't remember a whole lot about it, to be honest. So I think that's fun. I think. You're an Illinois guy, and I grew up there with my dad. I thought one of the neat things about the Illinois playoffs is you got to go different places and play different teams that you never seen before. With our sectional format, that doesn't happen unless you advance out of the sectional round. But obviously with this sectional opponent, we haven't played them before. We haven't been there before, so I think that's kind of cool to have that aspect a little bit to go play somewhere different and play somebody different.
Well, and that definitely is a nice thing in the postseason. So that way, trying to beat a good team twice in a year is hard to do. But it's always nice getting to see someone else, getting to see a different facility, getting to see how they do things just maybe a little bit different than what we do at